going on, everybody?
Hey, everybody.
Wait for more folks to get in here. Check out comments real quick. 10 man. Adam so far. All right, I am showing 6 online so far.
Awesome.
How you guys doing?
I'm doing good, man. I can't see the chat real well, so I hope you don't need me to try to read anything.
I'll pop
you're fine.
Right,
yeah, I got Tim to read off the questions.
All right, good.
I got my phone
Hey, Adam.
here.
Alicia.
I have to use the switch.
I'm getting old, man, so I need like one set of glasses to see the keyboard, and then I need a different set of glasses to like read the chat over here. I don't know what happened, man. I used to like pride myself on having good vision, and now I'm just falling apart, brother.
Man, I got my closest. I'm good, but the far away, it's not as good as it used to be.
I hear you.
My wife was trying to convince me to get that LASIK surgery, but I don't know, man. I don't want someone shooting a laser in my eye. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if something goes wrong? What if I'm that one in a million?
That's what I'm afraid of.
You know, I ain't risking it.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. And I heard it's about, we just lost Tim. I heard it was about 2 weeks. You can only do one eye at a time. And it's like a 2-week recovery deal.
Oh, forget that, man. I just know that, you know, that 1 in a billion where like it like sucks my eyeball out of my socket. Like I'd be that guy.
Gotta love technology. Gotta love technology. It works when it wants to work, and then it decides it wants to go, it goes.
That's why I like the YouTube videos, because when you can edit everything, you can fine tooth comb what goes out. But when you do a live show, man, you're really at the mercy of so many factors.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that. Did you see what they dropped on the website for Nocta, that new machine?
I just saw it last night. It was called like the Find X or something like that.
Yep.
I saw there was 2 different versions. One was like submersible, and the other one was not submersible. You know, for somebody that works with Nocta a lot and talks to all the people over there on a regular basis, I know less than most people. I only saw it because I went on Facebook this morning to make sure I had the link for your show, and I saw someone else posted about it, or else I'd have no idea.
Yeah. So Mind Lab, you know, they had that Voyager that came out, and of course we did a review on it. And now Nocta, it basically is the same concept. It looks like an Amazon, starting off as Amazon only for $140.
Yeah, $139 is what they have it right now.
I mean, look, it's smart, man. You know, the most profitable, the metal detecting company that sells the most machines, more than any of them, is the Bounty Hunter line, because most machines are going to go to beginners.
Yeah.
So it really makes sense, you know, like whenever a company comes out with a new machine, like all of us guys, we want like the high end or something, at least a good mid-range and new features. But it really behooves a company to put out beginner machines, because that's really where the market is. So it makes sense that they're putting out a machine that's inexpensive for someone who heck might use it once to find their property markers or look for their wife's lost keys. You know, they don't want to go buy $1,000 machine for that.
Right. That makes sense. And then again, if you get something that's, you know, decent in the beginning, you know, level of a metal detector, then you have hopes of that customer coming back to that, maybe that company had a good experience. Okay, so they have this one for this. What do they have that's maybe that next level up? You know, how can I go deeper in it and just not buy the most expensive machine out on the market? Not most people are, you know, like, man, am I going to really get in this or am I not? You know. So they're just kind of teetering on the fence.
Yeah, you're hoping to get them hooked.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think, once they go out and try it, if you find something even remotely cool in your first 1 or 2 trips, you're hooked, man. It grabs a hold of you. You guys know how it is.
Yeah.
Now, if you go out on that first 1 or 2 trips and all you find is cans and bottle caps and junk, well, that guy probably puts it in the closet and never uses it again. But if you get lucky early, you're hooked for life. It's just how many hobbies pay you back? The amateur that goes out once every couple of months, and you're finding money in the ground. I mean, come on, bro. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're correct on that. I think they're targeting. Yes, they're targeting the new hunters, but I think they're targeting, especially since they're doing it through Amazon, starting off as in Amazon with these low machines. I think they're targeting the potential buyer that someone might. Hey, I have a buddy that does this. It looks fun. First thing they're going to do is get on Amazon or Facebook or eBay and look up these machines. Hey, this is a cheap one. It's the same brand as what my buddy swings. They're going to purchase that, and you don't know. They might get on Facebook on a few groups. Hey, how do I do this? Blah blah blah. 6 months down the road, they're upgrading their machine, if they like it or not. And to me, I've only seen maybe 1 or 2 people that's kind of dislike the hobby after trying it, but that's usually because they usually buy a more high-end machine and they can't figure it out too well. So it's kind of disheartening finding can slaw and every time they go out.
Yeah, you have to, it's like anything else. Some people, and I get it, they don't want to buy something knowing that they're going to have to upgrade in 3 months. So they go right from 0 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, that's good because you're not going to need the upgrade. But if you don't know what you're doing, it's so overwhelming, and then you just get frustrated and you give up, or you go watch YouTube videos, and guys like me do great. But I mean, it's tough, like to go from 0 to nothing, to something, that you can at least figure out. Yeah. Hey, what does discrimination do? How does that work? How does my sensitivity affect my depth and what I hear? And you just learn the basics of how a metal detector works. You can apply those principles as you go up the ladder. But if you have to learn everything from the get-go, it's tough, man.
Yeah, that's no doubt. I mean, like with Brian and stuff, I was joking with him a few live streams ago that I seen stuff come up on my Facebook, and I met him a little over about a year ago. I've done a little metal detecting on and off. My follow all started a small seated hunt through a local tractor club. It's just not all just tractors, basically all antique stuff, and started it out there. And I've kind of did it on and off. But when I met them and went out and I've always helped with the hunt, go help plant, go do this, help, manage, stuff. But we had some dicey weather, and, the hunt numbers were down, and I had a cheap machine, my follow-all. He had a Garrett, and he's like, hey, my machine's in the back of the truck. I went over like, all right, that one I had to work a few days before. So like Carl and everybody else did the planning and stuff. So I went and paid. It's like, all right, well, I'll just go join and go to the hunt. And that's kind of like what sparked it. I mean, that after that hunt, I've got a little coin book. It's, about yay thick, ones you buy at the store, that I've almost filled from last year. Because after that, I started going door knocking, this and that, going along with Brian and his brother and hitting different spots. And it's kind of just went up from there.
Yeah, I mean, what you're doing, that's what I do. I mean, that's like next level stuff. You got some people will only go to parks and public areas, which I'm not knocking that. That's great. But they're not going to find the lion's share like the door knockers do. Like if you're knocking on old houses like we do, and you're hunting places that are virgin ground that's never seen a detector, Like up here, like, we might go to a house and pull 15 large scents that are 2 inches down because no one's ever hunted it before.
Wow.
Where if you go to a park, there's stuff there that's been missed, but you are fighting for the scraps that 700 people have already been over, and it's a lot more challenging. And for a lot of people, it's a really hard step to go knock on a stranger's door. It's one of the questions I get the most. What do you say? What do you give them? Do you sign something? Do you do this? Do you do that? It's a real challenge, and a lot of people will just shy away from even thinking about knocking on a stranger's door.
Yeah, it can be intimidating. And you talk about going to a permission. I went with another friend I met at the hunt last year too, and we've been hunting pretty consistently. He took me to a lot he got permission of. He's like, man, I've gone over this twice. And then I pulled this out of the ground. He was just blown away. If I get it to go.
Is that a dime or a quarter?
It's a dime.
Okay.
So that's the second barber I've pulled out of the ground, and I'm just excited. They're so pulled out of the ground. Now, I've pulled a good fair share of Indian heads out of the ground. I think the oldest one I'm down to is 1886, I think it is. So.
And that's mostly in Missouri you're hunting?
Kansas.
I'm sorry, Kansas, yeah.
Yeah. I'm on trip in Missouri, but yeah, no, in Kansas. So I've noticed a lot. I've gone to a few old houses, and I've noticed in our area, because there is an influx of people piquing interest with it. So I go to one place, I'm thinking this has got a little history and it's old. Have luck sometimes, not at all.
Yeah.
Now I went to this one house. It was from 1905, and I think between the combination of me, Brian, and John, which I don't think I've been the highest one because I go back to it. Well, I about picked it to death now. But I think between the three of us, I pulled out 13 silver dimes in various.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that house has never been hit before.
Yeah,
it's nice when we were at a house this past weekend. It was house was built in 1730, had about 5 acres of swingable grass. So we were salivating all week. That's a winner.
Mm-hmm.
And we got there and it was all fill dirt. I mean, I think we found hardly anything the whole day. A couple of spoons, one Indian, like nothing. And, there's no guarantees in this hobby.
Yeah,
right.
That's so true.
We try to pick out the best places that'll have potential. You got to find spots that look good. B, you got to go knock on the door, hope they're home, hope they say yeah. In my case, hope to let me and my 5 buddies detect on there all day with cameras and mics and all the circus that comes to town.
Mm-hmm.
It's a challenge. And then you never know. And it could be a total bust. Like in this past weekend for us, it was a bust. We've had places that are the opposite. We've had small little lots and we would go just 2 of us and maybe pull out, fistfuls of things. It's always a crapshoot. You never know. Boots on the ground, swing your machine, and you need a little bit of luck. That's for sure.
Yeah, when we go do silver war hunting, we usually go out, test spots first, and we usually aim. We like doing relic hunting, so we usually aim for those iron infested areas so we can fish out easier spots. But let's say we have 300, 400 acres. We'll spend a weekend. Okay, you go that way, you go that way. We'll test out each corner and kind of make our way in. If one produces more, the next weekend we'll go, focus on that area.
Yeah. Do you use the LiDAR maps at all? We use the LiDARs on the big areas.
We used to, but now we just really goof around and wander until we usually hit an iron patch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, up here we don't really have 500 acre areas. It's so overdeveloped up here. If we can get a 5 acre house, that's pretty darn good. Now in the winter we do big farms and those are larger, and we'll use the LiDAR maps because you walk up to even a 50 acre farm. I mean, heck, even with 5 guys, it took me 7 months to go hunt that whole thing. The LiDAR maps are nice because if you haven't used them before, the satellite takes almost like an X-ray of the ground, and it'll show you the scars that dwellings and houses and structures have left. Even if it's been gone 100 years, you'll still see the outline of the square where there was an old barn or a carriage house or something. So then at least we can then focus that 50-acre property and all go to these specific areas first. Because it's overwhelming, man, when you go out and it's just like there's land in every direction as far as the eye can see. And where you are, I'm sure that's, tenfold.
Oh yeah, there's some good spots you could get out here, and it's pretty open.
Might see a house like every 10 minutes.
Yeah,
it's pretty barren.
You can pretty much see a gas station from any spot in the whole state. So you're never really that far off the beaten path.
Oh wow.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I don't know how many people live around here, but it's congested, We're suburbs of Philadelphia, New York, Baltimore. And even though the area is incredibly historic, and we've had settlers from the 1600s, and we find that stuff, but getting land and original land that hasn't been cemented over or fill dirted over or moved all around, and it's challenging. I mean, it's out there, but you got to work for it every single week. And for us, it's a never ending saga to get a new property every week that'll hold 5 guys. It's big enough for us all. That's going to potentially score things, and then on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And doing it for 9 years like that.
Yeah. And then that's kind of like this area, like even the small town I'm in, that they're fixing to come in and start stripping the lots, because there used to be a smelter and a couple of factories, and they'll let in the ground, so they're wanting to clean that up. They've done a few, but the challenge is going to someone's house and then being willing to, and then you still have your diehards. I want nobody on my yard. They're fixing to completely rip your yard out in 2 months.
Yeah.
But they'll die hard it to the end.
Yeah, it's part salesman. I always kind of think of it as you're really selling yourself, because you knock on that door, people are going to make a determination within 2 seconds whether you look credible or you look, someone that they don't want around. Now, maybe you can convince them if they talk to you long enough, but instantly they make that snap judgment. So, and then you have to kind of finagle the conversation. If you think they're leaning one way, you got to have something ready to go, something loaded up. And you're trying to sway that conversation, because to a lot of people, it's so foreign. If you knock on their door and you want to metal detect and dig in their property, and then in an ideal world, you want all the things you found, and they're like, what is this craziness? Like who, like they're so, you got to really break it down so that they understand and appreciate it and are invested somehow,
Yeah.
It's hard to do. It's a real challenge.
It is. It definitely is. There's one that it was pretty, I'd say it was almost a virgin spot. And the older lady, she was nice, but she was really protected on it. She loves this old house. I mean, it was 1890s or something, kind of some of the first structures in town. And she's like, well, I don't know, I'll think about it. And I gave it a week. And I happened to catch her outside. And I was like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, I just retouching base. He told me, maybe check back in a week. And I just happened to see you out, and I'm, heading towards home, and kind of talked to her and stuff. I said, it's got cool history. I mean, she had it all laid out, what each stage of what this house went through. I mean, she really knew the history of this house. And I said, this is part of this. You know what? I have no problems. If there's something that I find and you want, or even associated, it was even a motel at one point, I'd like you to have it. You know what? You know the history. You appreciate it just as much as the rest of us. I am not, I'm fully open to subject in this. So she looked in and she was sitting there talking. She says, you know what? I'd like to go ahead and try this. So I went out the next weekend, and started hunting. She was kind of sitting on the porch and kind of talking to me. She's kind of resting. She's an older lady, so she kind of got out and moved around, but just kind of rested. And like I said, I found a Merc out there. I'm like, oh, cool. This is pretty neat. Found a wheat penny or two, showed her the Merc, and she says, that's nice. I hadn't ever seen one of them. I said, yeah. She says, like, I'll tell you what, you hold on to that one. She says, the next one you find, I'd like to have it. All right. So we went and found some wheat pennies and stuff like that. Kind of ran short on time for stuff to do it. So I went out the next day, messaged her and went out. And the next day I got to go around the other side of the yard and stuff, landed another Merc. And I said, you know what? I found another Merc. And I said, here you go. I said, this is our agreement. And said, next one I found, this is yours. And she was so happy. And I gave her a few of the wheat pennies I found. I found some more wheat pennies, a couple of tax tokens and stuff. But just that right there, and she was happy. It worked out really well.
Yeah, people like that, especially if it's something they've never seen before, if it's found on their property, if they've lived there a long time. Mm-hmm. We give a lot of stuff to the homeowners, or we'll make a display case for them or whatever. A lot of the people, at least, up here, I can only speak of our area and how we do it. But, if you choose to live in a house that's from the 1700s, you're probably into that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like they're not cheap. They're expensive houses. And if you got money and that's the house you choose to live in, well, then you probably have an appreciation of history. You probably like the old things at some level. So if you offer to share what you find with them, put a display that would go in the house, it's things that have been sitting in the yard for centuries, that might be a game changer. That might be turn that no into a yes.
That's a wonderful ideal.
Well, like I said, over the years, you develop little things to do to try to get in there. Mm-hmm. And not try to get in like you're trying to pull one over on them, but try to show them how cool this could be and how meaningful it can be, because if not, they're just rotting under the ground.
Right.
So you got to figure out a way to reach them. And that's why I said it's partially being a bit of a salesman, because a lot of people don't know. I wouldn't know. Like if I wasn't in this and, you knocked on my door and you said, hey, I'm looking for the rare red spotted dwarf ant, and I think you have some in your yard. Can I go dig holes and run tubes around? I'd be like, what are you, crazy? Get out of here. But if you explained it to me and showed me things and got me invested, well, then you know what? Maybe my attitude changes, because now I'm more informed and I'm appreciating it more. Right. So you have to be able to communicate that well to a stranger, and maybe only have a minute before they're like, you know what? I'm busy. Can you go? You got to make it quick, and
right.
It's tough. It becomes a real skill. I think it's more of a skill than the detecting itself, to get a new permission every single week, because, listen, when you're on a virgin house, every machine beeps. Every machine, you dig the beep, you're going to get lucky sometimes. The real key is getting the spot, getting that place. Mm-hmm. A monkey can go in after you get it and find good stuff. That's the skill. So, if you can hone that skill and practice and then start landing places that no one else has been to before, man, you're going to really appreciate this hobby, because now you're finding things that, you're going to be really proud of, that no one else will find, because no one's been there before.
Right.
Now, how willing are you to travel for your permission hunts?
Well, we go out every weekend. We try to stay within a 2-hour range of where we all live. The area is pretty historic. Like I said, we're between Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York. I mean, it's some of the oldest parts of the country. So there's really no need to travel 7 hours away, because I'm driving out of the best land, going to lesser land,
Yeah.
Right.
So there's most weekends we're within an hour. You got to get away from the concrete and get out to the more rural parts, but you don't want to be so rural that even 200 years ago it was rural and there was no one around to drop things. So you got to find that happy median. And it's hard to research those places because if a spot's an hour away, I don't want to drive out there on a Monday and knock on the door and then have to drive back again on Saturday. You know, like I don't want to keep making that drive back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's tough because you're trying to get permissions in areas you're not super familiar with. A lot of it maybe you don't see before. You only see pictures on the internet and on Google Earth, and you're trying to determine what's going to be good. And then you got to track down who owns it. Where are they? Where do they live? How do I get a hold of them? Mm-hmm. It's a whole big thing. You probably write a book on just how to do that every week. Those are the things that people don't know about. You know,
it's true.
When people watch my videos, a lot of people think it's full of baloney, and they go, "Oh, I've been detecting 10 years, and I never found that stuff you guys find." And I want to say, like, well, how do you detect? Like, do you go to the local elementary school that was built in 1985? Of course you don't. Or do you go knock on the oldest houses in the whole area every single weekend for months and months and years, never missing? You're going to get the lion's share. You're going to get the best stuff. It's just practice. It's determination. It's motivation. So you can't compare, you know, the guy that I've been doing it 30 years. Yeah, you've been doing it 30 years, you know, 2 times a year for an hour, you know, on a Sunday, compared to the guys that put in, you know, 10 hours of detecting us on a Saturday and 15 hours of research. And, you know, that's determination, brother.
Yeah. A good friend of mine that, you know, I met, you know, early on and last year, and he told me, he says, the key to this hobby that he's found, and he's been doing it for years, is research.
No doubt.
He says research will be your friend in determining on how well that, you know, your possibility of finding something. I'm not saying it's completely guaranteed, but the better the research, the better you know about it, the better the possibility. There you go.
Yeah, no doubt. You want to give yourself the best chance, and that research comes into play. But on the same token, you know, I could research the pyramids and tell you how historic it was. But if I can't get access to metal detect it, what's the point?
Right. Yeah.
So along with that research, you got to have the chutzpah to go knock on the door and track down the owner. You got to have the communication skills to get that yes from someone who probably wouldn't normally do that. And then you got to have the research to know it was good. It's a whole package. You have to have the whole kit and caboodle to really be successful day in and day out every single time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really think it's a skill. I think it's more of a skill than anything else, because then you're putting yourself in the best scenarios every time you go out.
Tim, you got a list of questions for Jason?
Oh,
I'm going to be in and out. I'm still recovering from being sick. That's why I'm kind of turning off my camera.
My son is sick.
So I do know. You said questions. I know where my mind went. I know you run the Legend. How you fared on that new mode they've dropped?
Well, I was away at an event last weekend for 5 days, so I didn't even put on the mode until like Wednesday of like 5-6 days ago. And then I only got to play with it for like a half a day because I work, you know, so time is tough. Right. And then they dropped a new beta. So now there's a new, so I don't have any experience with it really that I could provide.
I just didn't know if you had a chance to play around with it much.
Not enough. And then they changed it again. So I'm no authority on that. I've seen YouTube videos, but you know, I watch them with a grain of salt because I don't know how guys run. Right. I don't know how they swing. I don't know, you know, like I try to take pieces of it, but you really got to experience things yourself. I think.
Right. No, it was just curiosity, you know.
If you ask me next week, I'll let you know, because this weekend I'll have it on, and
all right,
my first full day with it.
All right. Well, here's one better. What is your where do you kind of run on your machine? Do you more park, more field?
I usually, well, I mean, you know, use the Legend, so you know they're totally customizable. I use the field mode, but I change it because field mode by default is a 2-tone. I change mine to a default where it's field mode, but I like 4 tones because I like isolating tones more. And even though it's field mode, I change the defaults of the recovery speed and I change the defaults of the sensitivity, mixing in what mode I use. I know the simultaneous multi-frequency just sounds sexy, but a lot of times the single frequency I think is more effective. So a lot of times I don't use the multi-frequency. So I don't necessarily have like something I use all the time. I might start off like turn it on and start walking with one setting. And over the course of the first 20 minutes, half hour, seeing how the ground is, seeing how mineralized it is, how clay the soil is, I'll make adjustments on the fly. And that's why I always say, a question I get a lot is, hey, what settings do you use? And, me telling you what settings I use up here really does you no good somewhere else. The real question is, what do the settings do and how do they affect the machine? Because if you know what they do and how to affect it, then you can adjust it for your environment, not just trying to copy what I'm doing that works up here. It's like, what do they say? Like you can teach a guy to fish, but you can't give him a fish or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Right. Yeah, I was just kind of curious because I'm
not talking to you either. I'm just kind of generalizing because it's a question I get a lot, and I try to. But I mean, I guess if you want to say like when I turn it on, I'm in a hybrid of field. I don't know what frequency, what mode I'd be in as far as my frequency I'm swinging, but I'm in a hybrid of field with usually a low recovery speed because I prefer depth over separation because I can swing my machine slower to isolate targets, but I can't do much to give it more depth without the machine favoring, that lower recovery speed number.
Yeah, I get asked the same thing, and usually it's hard for me to do that because I don't know what everyone's mineralization is. My settings work fine. I do on the Legend of Park mode, but I kind of tune it up for relic hunting.
Okay.
When I'm out in the field, I'll start off in multi-frequency and then usually switch over to a single kilohertz just to test out those grounds. If I'm not liking, if it's too scattery, I'll switch to a single kilohertz. But when someone, hey, what's your settings? I'm usually like, well, I have mine set for my dirt.
Yeah.
So everyone's different. So I can show you what I do with mine, but you'll have to tune it up yourself to see how comfortable you are in your own area.
Yeah, you're right. And you're smart to give that advice because you're not giving them any service. If you just say, oh yeah, turn it on, put it in park, put your sensitivity at 25 and your ground balance and you're good to go. Well, they're not learning anything from that. Like, it's much better if you tell them, if they understand what each setting does, and you only really get that from experience. You can read it, you have a basic idea, but you got to get out there. But you can throw coins on the ground, swing over it, make a small adjustment, swing over it. What changed audibly? What changed visually? Make a small adjustment, swing over it. What changed? And you'll learn it so much faster that way by just doing controlled little experiments. Because once you have that basic understanding, then you can really make a lot of changes because you understand what it does when I crank up this and lower this and how does it affect each other when I do that. You can really have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that because mine is, like you said, yours is hybrid. I use field a lot, and I might use the multi-frequency or fluctuate too, sensitivity too, because I've noticed, like you said, we've seen how clay, in our area, there's a lot of sandstone and clay, and then there's some areas that the dirt's really rich.
Yeah, so totally. And it could be 10 feet apart. You don't know.
Yeah, so I fluctuate a lot on mine. So I'm usually in field, but like I said, it's far from the deal. My tone breaks I've readjusted. I watched a guy do a tone break, and it's like, oh, that's a good idea. So we're and I can't say I'm 100% dead on this, but from what your typical machine and hitting the pull tab, I've adjusted my tone break and the bar adjustment enough that I'd say on a 75% success rate, I'm hitting a nickel where most everyone is, it's pull tab range. So
yeah, I agree with you, Tim. Playing with the threshold and the tone break really helps out.
Yeah, I adjust them also. I do my tone breaks, and I have a tone break for each mode too. So for each mode, I have custom tone breaks, and then you save your profiles.
Yep.
I like all that stuff. Even just I see in the chat Jersey Ray Diggs. She's a friend of mine, Rachel. She's another Jersey person, just like me. I always think like when I swing over a target, and I try to tell new people this is, the target's going to sound great when you hit the middle of that target. Beep, 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 boop, boop, boop. But really listen to the edges of the target. Like get out to where it starts to fade and really concentrate on that. And listen to the difference of what the edge of a coin sounds like compared to what the edge of a pull tab sounds like. Because a coin is a solid mass all the way through, same thickness. Where a pull tab, it's thick on the pop part, and then it thins out in the aluminum, and the machine can hear that difference of the how solid that material. Oh, the Key Day Kid, him. That's the guy. He makes those Excalibur shovels. I don't know why I can't say that word. Excalibur shovels. I got one last week. Oh my goodness, game changer for me. I love that thing. So shout out to Casey. But yeah, listen to the edges because the middle is going to sound great. You're rocking and rolling. It's the thickest, most densest part of the metal. The edge really gives you a lot of information, and then rotate 90 degrees on it. Listen to all four. I mean, it's a circle, but listen to all four edges.
Yeah.
You're going to really get a good idea of what that target is.
Yeah, I usually do the 360, and then I follow up with the fishtail.
Yeah, I fishtail front, back. And then, you don't do 360 because you do all the way around back where you started from. It's gonna, you're like a 90 degree, and then you hit it like an X. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And then usually I use the pinpoint button. Like I never use the pinpoint button to actually.
I barely use it.
I might use it to help me verify the depth at the end, but I don't. I pinpoint off the nose by doing that fast wiggle, 90 degrees, fast wiggle. I see where it stopped. I see where it started. I can tell you exactly how big the thing's going to be. And then you need a little bit of luck. Is it going to be a token? Is it going to be, maybe a piece of copper from the old roofing tiles? Man, those suckers sound good.
They do.
But I mean, I'm giving myself the best shot.
Right.
Heel toe. That's right. Heel to toe.
Heel to toe.
Another thing I tell beginners is, beginners love digging cans because they sound awesome, don't they?
A smashed one, yeah.
Yeah,
the smashed can sounds amazing.
But I always say, like, and I didn't invent this trick, but when I find a trick that works, I remember it. When you swing over that awesome signal where you lift your coil up, hold it way up here and swing. So now your coil's got about 18 inches of air between it and the ground. If you still hear that signal, it ain't a coin, brother. Keep on walking.
Yeah. That's
a great. Now listen, could it be a mason jar lid full of gold coins? Yeah, it could be. So you got to play the odds a little bit. But like if you're at a public park and you can hear it way up here, keep on walking.
So I actually have a story on that. So I've been hitting this park for years, and usually it's right after work. You go out there for an hour or two. I'm usually in a rush. I'm usually doing one day I'll do high conductors. Second day I'll do, low tones or whatever. But sometimes if I feel like I want to pick up the trash, I'll dig up cans. But this one target is right off the street. It sounded just like a can, about the size of a can. It was right on top. It felt like I've been skipping over it for months. All in one day, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get this can out of it. So I hitting it. Ended up being a toy gun from like the 50s.
Yeah, listen, it happens. I don't tell anybody don't dig something. I'm one of those guys that got fortunate one time and found a mason jar that was full of stuff, and the lid was screaming. I would have bet my bottom dollar that it was a can, but it was a mason jar, and that lid, and it was full of, like, I'll say treasures. Not that they were worth anything monetarily, but it was awesome. So the old moniker of dig everything. I mean, it's kind of true. I curtail it the way we detect because, like I said, we go to a different house one time every weekend forever. Mm-hmm. So we're only there once. So if you're at a house once and only once, you want to hedge your digs as best you can. If you're at a spot like you, or you're going to go back 50 times, well, then heck, have at it, brother, because you're going to find amazing things that I'm going to miss because I'm pressed for time.
That's so true. Jersey, that was your viral video, wasn't it?
That was, I've had a couple of really successful videos over the years, but that one where I got the mason jar got me millions and millions of views. And I got so many people that commented from outside of the metal detecting world that helped me figure out every single item in there and what it represented. It really kind of transcended the hobby, which, when that happens, it's really cool.
Right.
That was probably about 7 years ago. So I can't believe Rachel even remembers.
Oh, wow. That's been a while ago.
Quite a while, haven't you?
I'm sorry, what's that?
You've been doing this quite a while, haven't you?
Well, I mean, I've only been metal detecting about maybe 10 years, but I started the YouTube channel about a year into my detecting because when I started it, I didn't know anyone else that did the kind of detecting that I like to do. Even though I only live about a half an hour from Atlantic City and the New Jersey beaches, I just have no interest in going to the beach. Like, I like to find old stuff, and I didn't know anyone else that'd like to do that. So I would pull my camera out and record my finds to myself because I was so excited. But if there's no one around to share it with, it's such a downer. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I would pull my phone out and talk like my buddy was there to my phone. So I had these kind of fun, excitable videos, and I said, I'm just going to throw them up on YouTube. And after a while, I really started to enjoy it. And then it kind of just grew from there.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's when you're detecting and having someone with you in the camaraderie, saying it right.
Camaraderie, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. But anyways, you get the point. That all together, I mean, sometimes that's just more than just finding something. It's just everything together.
Being with your buddies is the best. Yeah, when you find something and you're stoked and your buddy is happy for you. I mean, because listen, my wife, like, she'll give me like that's cute, hon, but it's not the same as like, with your buddy, and you both really, you have a passion for the same thing. Like, that's awesome.
You guys feed off each other's energy.
Oh, 100%. And now, I mean, the group I go with, there's 6 of us, 7 of us, sometimes every weekend. So if somebody finds something cool, the whole gaggle comes over. And everyone's like hooting and hollering, and it's magical, man. It's magical.
It definitely is. Yeah, I like I said, I watch your videos. I'll watch a little bit of everybody's stuff, and it's just like the guys, you see that, and they're excited, and y'all fist bump, this and that. Cool. Just excited. Yeah, that right there, man. I mean, yeah, you could find that gold coin. That'd be phenomenal. But just finding a silver diamond, your buddies and your friend or whatever, just being there with you, that just makes it more special than just what it is.
I mean, I don't know if I could ever go back to hunting by myself like I did when I started, because it would feel like such a letdown. Like, if I found something amazing and there was no one there to share the moment with, it's kind of like, I don't know. I'd feel diffused somewhat. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Some guys go by themselves their whole life, and hey, if that's you, and then no big deal. But I like groups now. I like a lot of people around.
Yeah.
Very true, Adam.
Yeah, it's very true.
Oh yeah. I always say we're a weird bunch of guys and girls, like, not a lot of people dig in the dirt, for things that were lost only 100 years ago. And, like, we're an odd group, but I think our hearts are in the right place.
Very true.
So when we meet each other, we're I don't want to say attracted, make it sound weird, but like we gravitate towards each other, you know what I mean? And friendships develop really quickly because there's not a lot of us that like to do this.
Right.
Now,
Yeah,
speaking of friendships, an episode of yours, I don't know how long ago it was. I think it was an episode where you got one of your buddies found the GAR medallion, Grand Army of the Republic medallion.
Okay.
One of those episodes, I think it might have been that one. You decided to play a prank on one of your friends, and you guys had one of those fake bone arms
Yeah,
with the ring on it, and
they played the prank on me. You see, the guy, everyone I go with, knowing that I do the YouTube channel, when someone finds something, like if I were you and you're with our group, if you find something, as soon as you see that it's interesting or cool, you're supposed to just drop it and don't even look at it and wait until I get over there. That way you see it for the first time while the camera's running. I see it for the first time, and it captures the real excitement.
The raw
emotion. Like if you're looking at it the whole time and then I walk over, well, the excitement for you dissipated a little bit, So
yeah.
On this day, the guy calls me over and says, I think I got a ring. And he didn't look at it, in my mind, because that's how we do it. So I go over and he covered it up. We covered it up with like a little dirt bomb. That way you don't even look at it. Like, I don't even want you to like, is it faceted? You like cover it up and don't even look at it, like a dog not looking at his treat,
Yeah.
So I walk over, he says, I think it's a gold ring. He lifts up the dirt bomb and I see this big hunking ring, and I'm filming it and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be awesome. And I go down my finger and I kind of rub a little bit on the side of it. And I see like whiteness in the center of it. And my initial reaction was, a tree root must have grown through it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I think a root grew through it. And he says something like, I don't think that's a root. And I'm like, what do you mean? So I kind of pull on it and then a finger comes out.
Oh,
now the hand that he pranked me with was like a real medical hand. I don't know if it was a real human hand, but it was like, it would fool you. You know what I mean? Like It was like they use it in like schools or something. So yeah, when I pulled it out and I saw the hand on there, like I probably went white as a ghost. Like we're in a stranger's yard and I'm thinking to myself, like all in a second, like, oh my God, do I have to call the police? Are the police going to come? Did this homeowner kill the guy? Like, like all these emotions are going through your head. And the guys kept a really good straight face because like as a YouTuber, wherever I look, the camera looks. So I'm like, as I look up, the camera follows you because it's got to capture whatever my eyes see. So I'm like, guys, are you pranking me? And I'm turning and they're like, no, you're like, they were good. They were good.
Yeah, and then a really good episode.
And then after like a minute or two of like my heart racing, one of them kind of like busted a smirk. And then I knew they were messing with me. Now, the funny thing about that story, too, is we all had a good laugh, whatever. Well, at the end of the day, the guy that brought the fake hand forgot about it and left it in the guy's yard. The guy went out the next day and saw this hand, and that guy had the same reaction. He's thinking, oh, my God, do I call the police? These guys found a body on my yard and didn't tell me. So that homeowner experienced the whole thing over.
Dude, that's funny.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah,
and you had to go out and apologize. So sorry, they pulled one on me.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't. The guy that buried the hand lived the closest. So when he realized he forgot it, he went back the next day to retrieve the hand. But the homeowner had already saw it, so he had to knock on the door, and the homeowner, knew who he was. But at this point, it would have been really cool. But I wasn't there when he went back for it.
That would have been pretty funny catching that on film too.
That had to have been an interesting conversation.
Yeah. Well, like I said, and then we became good friends with the guys because it's such a weird, wacky, thing.
Yeah.
But it's moments like that. It's small moments like that makes this hobby so wonderful with your friends. You guys get to share your guys' emotions, share your finds, and then when you guys do fun activities like that, I mean, it lasts forever in your guys' mind. It just I love this hobby. When I go to events, I share the stories, I share the emotions with other fellow detectorists at competition. So it's better with people.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Bri, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
I heard you say it a couple times today at competition. I don't even know what that is. What's a metal detecting competition?
So I call seated hunts competitions.
Okay.
Especially when they do like speed hunts. You're going out there doing the best of your ability and trying to beat everyone else out there. So there's a lot of seated hunts out there that, they might do like a 3 or 4 hour hunt. I'll take my time, enjoy it. But when a lot of these clubs that we go to for their seated hunts, they are usually speed hunts. So I call those competitions.
So when I've never really speed hunted before. I'm trying to imagine how I would do it. Are you putting on a small coil so you can whip it faster, or you put on a big coil so you can cover more ground?
Cover more ground. Usually we put a bigger coil on. I'll lower my sensitivity because since you're so close to everyone else, I'll lower my sensitivity. Most of those targets will be about an inch at most. So I'll bump up my reactivity, lower the sensitivity, put a bigger coil on, and I try not to zig, but I want to go fast enough so I'll make those wider swings out there, but I try to go faster than I normally would do without zigzagging.
Okay. That's pretty interesting. I've never, if I've been to those hunts, I guess I never paid attention, but that's probably like a different kind of psyche when you're racing, because normally you want to take your time, but in that situation, you're trying to rush.
Most of the speed hunts are like 30 minutes long, and usually they're all high conductors anyways.
Sure.
So you want to go as fast as you can, get your target, jump up, make sure the plug's filled in, and go to the next as fast as you can. So to me, that's, for a fat kid, that's a competition.
Hey, for me, it is too. I'm tall. You know how hard most effort takes me to get down on my knees? It's tough, brother.
It's a workout for sure. So speaking of events, you went to Show Me Treasure Hunt.
Yeah, the Show Me one a week or so ago. And that was a ton of fun. That was all right in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, I had a lot of buddies that went to it. Unfortunately, I already set my vacation up for other events, so I didn't go to it. It looks like I really should have went. It was a relic heaven, I heard.
It was one of the best hunts I've ever been to. Now, granted, I didn't find a whole lot. I didn't find anything because I don't get to detect these things. I'm running around trying to film everybody else's finds, but the excitement in the air, the aura of the things that were found, people were walking around with these glowing expressions because they found these incredible bucket listers, and I thrive off of that because if you're stoked, man, I'm stoked for you. Like I'm feeding off that, and everybody was coming in with these incredible finds. It was just a magical atmosphere. It was one of the best hunts I've ever been to. Just because of the overall vibe and feel and camaraderie, and everyone kind of felt like they were in it together. And then the whole event ended coincidentally with the eclipse, because it was that weekend.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So it was really cool. I really enjoyed myself. The guy, it was his first time he's ever put a hunt on, and it was quite an endeavor with like 300 people there. So a lot of possibilities could have happened where it would have been an epic failure. And he really thrived. He really did an awesome job.
Yeah, I've not heard one bad review. It's all been wonderful reviews, and I'm really looking forward to going next year. I should have went this year.
Yeah, he already announced the dates for next year. So yeah, if it's close enough to you, I know I'm going back again next year.
Yeah,
it was
definitely
so much fun.
Now,
definitely be interesting to go to.
Oh yeah, dude, you need to go. It's only about maybe 5 or 6 hours from us, so it's not that bad getting down there. So Jason, what about your future events? Do you have a schedule already set in stone, or you just go whenever?
Well, I'm going to an event in like 2 weeks, the Detecting the Heartland. Love those people out there. If you ever met Casey and Mindy Oberruder and all the Iowa and Illinois people are fantastic. But normally I would go to more events, but I'm trying to be, I'm married and I want to stay that way. I want to stay
right.
that way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I work all week, 40 hours a week. I'm already gone at least one day every weekend. I mean, we go detecting. I leave by 5 a.m. I don't get home till maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night. Like, it's all day.
Oh, wow.
So then if I go away too many times, an event, I'm leaving Thursday, I'm coming back Monday, maybe Tuesday. It's a big ask. I got to take off work. I don't see my family. So I'm trying to reel back how many events I go to, which is hard because I've made friends at all these places and I want to see the people and I enjoy myself, but you have to balance family and fun and all that stuff. So after Heartland, I'm taking several months off, and I probably won't do a hunt until maybe September, October.
Until the fall. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the same way with KG. He's so busy with his schedule, but when he gets home, it's family time for him.
Yeah, it has to be. And I'm a very family oriented guy. Like, I spend a lot of time with my family. So if I'm gone 5 days, I legit miss them. You know what I mean? Like, what'd she say? Someone has a ticket for me and a place to stay, so I guess I'm going. Where are you going, Rachel?
I think to
the Heartland.
Rachel, you going to the Heartland?
I might have missed whatever she said earlier. I can't see the chat. I can only see it when you make it real big like that.
So she got that one. Seated hunt centers. Jason, you've been to the ESP at Deep Search Hunt.
Yeah, I mean, is that a speed hunt? I mean, we have seated hunts up here, and everyone gathers around the hunt area, and they, 1, 2, 3, go. I guess you can consider it a speed hunt. I'm just kind of doing my thing. I mean, we find so many old things on a regular basis. When I go to a seated hunt, I don't want to be trying to race out the guy who only goes detecting 3 times a year. Like, I get plenty on my own. So I kind of sit back. I try to get 1 or 2 things. That way people will think I'm legit. Like, oh, that YouTuber, he never even detect. Like, so I try to get out for a little bit, but then I pull back. I let everyone else do their thing and I record them because, I get my share all year long. I don't want to hog up the event. And I get into a lot of the events for free because I document it and do a video on it. And, they base the amount of coins that go into the ground on the money they take in. Yeah. So if I'm getting in for free and I'm hunting on top of it, well, then I'm taking from other people. So I guess I didn't realize they're speed hunts because I don't really hunt them very often. I just I sit back and enjoy and just watch and document the day.
Right.
And I'm probably slow anyway, man. I'm like a giant giraffe, I'm clumsy as all heck.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It like I said, that little small one, I'm doing it this year. My follow-all's health is not as well as it's been. So last year, Brian and his brother helped him. And this year he's like, hey, I'm done this or that. The club approached me and says, hey, what about a hunt this year? And I let myself be talked into it. All right, fine. I'll take up the mantle and do it. It's not real big. We're, in prior years, we probably had 20, 30 people. Last year, the weather kind of turned. We had 15 people show up. We had a big storm roll in on us. So I don't blame people. I don't want to be out with a lightning rod swinging it.
Neither.
So, but, trying to plan, I got donations and stuff like that from a couple local places, stuff that me and the friend, that stuff we found or had, we've thrown in it. So, trying to see if, the goal's 20 people. Hey, we had 15, it's been 20, maybe 30, depending, what the weather does. If it's super hot or if it's crazy, some people may not want to come out, but goal is to shoot for 20 people.
Okay.
So
that's cool. It's a good way to get together. Like I said, half the guys in my crew are over 70 years old. So it's a cool hobby that even if you're older or out of shape, you can do it at your own pace. You know what I mean? Right. And just enjoy the day, enjoy the environment. It doesn't have to always be a speed hunt. If it's not for you, you can get out there and just enjoy it at your own pace. And
right.
You see, you can.
you say about older, Steven follows a lot older and stuff, and he kind of based it around from just getting everybody out there and have fun. It's kind of fun, get everybody out there and find something cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So this year, like I said, I'm running it, so I won't be in it. So I'll have more opportunity. Like you said, I'll be running around with my phone doing this.
That's what you got to do. Capture the moment, man.
Yeah.
They'll experience it once when they're hunting, but if you can make a little video out of it, the people there can watch it years later, and that's a memory that will slowly dissipate. But you've now documented the day, and that's really cool. Because they're too busy to take pictures and do all that stuff.
Right. So I'll be running around with my phone recording.
What's the name of your event?
It's the Tractor Club is called the Caney Valley Antique Power Association. Carl coined, which we've it's the group now. It's what the club is, and it's Caney Valley Metal Detecting.
Okay. That's good. And you said KG is in your group?
KG just lives about 30 minutes from me.
Yeah, I knew he lived in Kansas somewhere. I didn't know if he.
I know Brian and them and a few other people I think kind of know him by association. So
Brian Stewart, you mean?
Yeah, Stewart. So Stewart, myself, our buddy Shane, and my brother, we usually go out quite a bit. Usually when KG shows up, he is usually with family when he's home. So it's very rare to get him to come hunting with us. But yeah, Stewart and I, we know KG pretty well. He came down to my house with some Fireball.
Oh, okay.
There's some Fireball there.
Yeah, he was at the Show Me Hunt, and he found a cool thing too. He found a complete brass spittoon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where he got it. I wasn't hunting by his side. I think he was off near the creek somewhere. But I saw a picture of it, so I'm glad he got something really cool.
Yeah, that is definitely cool.
Yeah, he's a great guy to hang out with. So I know a lot of these bigger events, all the bigger YouTubers and celebrities kind of show up there. Unfortunately, I've never met you in person.
No, I don't always leave the East Coast very often.
You just kind of stay in that region.
Well, I mean, I try to go to like one or two events outside of my area each year, because then it allows me to meet people I wouldn't normally meet, and I really enjoy that.
Right.
So this year, I did the Missouri one, I'm doing the Iowa one, and in October I'm doing one in Arkansas. Because it's cool to meet new people that you never would see. All the East Coast events, they're a lot of fun. I see the same people at every one, and it's great to see friends again. But it's cool to like meet somebody new that maybe you've been chatting with online for years, and you finally get to meet them face to face. So it's cool. So I'm sure if I don't see you at least next year at that Show Me Hunt, then I'll get to meet you, because you're gonna have a good time with that one.
Yeah, the Treasure Fest is one in October. I went to the last year one because Mind Lab Masters event was.
Oh, you did that Masters of Metal?
So, yeah, we placed third in that one, and then went to Alabama for nationals. But I wasn't planning on going to Treasure Fest this year. But for sure, the Show Me Treasure Hunt.
Oh, you went to Alabama for the finals?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, my good friend Heath Jones was the dealer there. I don't know if you saw him. They were selling the freeze dry Skittle.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good guy. I didn't go to that one. He was asking me to, but I couldn't make it to that one.
It was pretty wet.
Who won that Masters of Metal thing? Do you know who it was?
Jersey Boys.
Oh, guys from Jersey won that.
Yeah. Rachel, was it Jersey Boys?
I don't know who the Jersey Boys are, but I'm surprised someone from Jersey won that. Oh,
dude, they kicked the crap out of us.
Really?
They did circles around all of us.
I know Debbie. I saw Debbie from Mind Lab. She's planning out the next one. They really got a lot out of it, and I think they're changing it up a little bit too.
Yeah, Rachel, she competed in the New York one.
Oh, the first one up at Digstock or whatever it was.
All right, so we've hit over an hour. Does the panel have any more questions before we start settling down?
Yeah, I'm looking here, see if anyone's got any questions.
A guy named At. Yeah, I didn't get to do the Masters medal, but I heard it was really good. Hey, like anything that promotes the hobby is good for everybody, man.
Oh yeah.
So I know she's changing it this year a little bit. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm sure they'll do a good job. Debbie, is one of the hardest working people in the whole hobby.
Oh, she is. She truly is.
She's a workhorse, man.
Yes. So what I've heard, she's going to be doing. There's going to be more of them this year, and of course a national event after the regionals. But I've also heard there's going to be one in England, a possible one in England for like a world deal.
Maybe part of that Detective All event, that real big one. Yeah,
but that's just rumors. I'm not for sure. I know she posted something. Actually, I think Heartland might actually be the first one for this year.
Oh, okay.
But I'll look into that.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but she's on the road so much, man. I don't know how she does it, and she's pulling a whole circus tent behind her with tents and spinning wheels and gold pan stations, and sometimes she has help, sometimes it's just her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've seen her crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, she's good. She's good people. Yeah, I see. Casey said Debbie works 48 out of the 52 weekends a year. For sure, man.
She truly does. Tim, you got any more questions before we let Mr. Jason go?
Oh, I don't think that I can beat off the side of my head. I'm just like, trying to think of everything. Of course, I'll probably get off here and think of that, but it's definitely nice to have you on here. That's why I was sitting there. I've seen and watched this, and I was like, you know what? Anyone I've met in the hobby are usually pretty nice and pretty welcoming. And I was like, man, I watched this video. I was like, man, I wonder if he'd just want to stop by sometime and just join us. It's good to get other people in the hobby and on here and discuss, our passion.
Yes.
No, I agree. It's a lot of fun. And, I've met almost every one of my friends at this point in my life. I've met through this hobby, like everyone, because it's all I do. Like I'm so engrossed, and I don't really have time outside of family and work. I'm doing something with this hobby. Right. So all my friends I've met through my YouTube channel or events or whatever. It's my people. You guys are my people, whether you like it or not. You're my people.
Right on.
Next time you do some door knock, you better show off more of that leg.
I got to keep my legs covered, brother.
Well, Jason, I thank you so much for coming on and enjoying this past hour with us. It was a treat, a treasure. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the future at an event or two. Maybe one of these days I'll head down that way, hit you up. I know I've been talking to Rachel about going down there in Metal-Detected.
Yeah, that's definitely bucket list item to get in the colonial area and do some detecting. That would be phenomenal.
It's cool. In fact, my bucket list is the exact opposite, where I want to get out to the southern and western areas to find Civil War stuff, because we don't get a lot of that out here.
Right.
It's funny how the grass is always greener. You know what I mean? Like,
there you go.
Those new things.
I do. I hear that a lot from folks that's in the Northeast. I mean, I just really want to find some Civil War artifacts.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are finding 1600 stuff.
I'm not complaining, but I sure wouldn't mind mixing it up once in a while.
Yeah, I hear
there you go.
I totally understand. Rachel, okay. I will. We can. I'm running out of time. I got about 10 minutes until another show comes on. So I'll do it. I'll do that next week. You can send me a picture if you want to. But anyways, Jason, thank you so much, buddy. We're going to wrap things up real shortly. I still got a giveaway, and I got to talk about a few things on next week's episode. And my season finale tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
So, Tim?
Yep. Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing a lot of your guys.
I appreciate it.
Your experience, and like I said, I mean, keep it up. I enjoy watching the videos of you and the guys. I mean, you guys find some cool stuff.
And the girls, we got some girls going with us now too.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So whoever we can get on there, try to make it a party. Finagle the property owner, how many you can get on, which is a challenge, but we try to max out whatever it can be.
I hear you.
But thanks for having me on. I don't want to hold you up. I want you to get your giveaway in. So thank you very much. And if anyone wants to see more, I'll be doing my live stream this Thursday, where it's just a whole lot of nonsense. The whole gang's on. We go over this week's video and show all the finds and just goof off. You guys are all welcome to stop in.
All right. I'll share your link on the which I'm sure everyone here probably watches your live anyways.
Well,
last time I
they're all
on your
welcome.
lives, you had like 500-600 people on it. I was like, I couldn't keep up with chat.
It's a party, and I'm happy to see them all. I start to recognize all the same names,
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Jason, you be safe, dude, and I'll see you on your show Thursday.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
All right.
Yep.
Take care, fellas.
Bye.
You too.
All right. Great guy, dude. He is such a great guy.
Yeah, like I said, messaging with him and stuff. I mean, it just, you can't, in my opinion, I mean, there's a lot out there, but just, you can't meet, in my opinion, I mean, there's a lot out there just as nice as him. I mean, just a nicer guy, just pleasant to discuss and talk with. Willing to, answer your question or get back to you. Just like all of us, we're all busy, usually gets back to you. May not be right away, but, we all have things going on. Well, let's see. Since we got 14 in.
14 in, 6 entries. So
get your hashtags in.
Hashtag TVMD, guys. Man, having this cold, it really sucks being in and out. So tomorrow is my finale. It's not going to be a premiere. It's going to be a regular episode. I have a hashtag going on for that. Thank you, Adam. I got a hashtag going for that for my Canadian friends for tomorrow's episode.
Well, there's even Jersey. She's like, where's her invite? She's always welcome to come join us.
Yeah,
she probably don't want to come and join in our shenanigans.
Rachel's awesome. I love her. She's just a sweetheart. But I got hashtag going on for my Canadian friends. If I don't hit the number I want, I'm probably going to open that to the worldwide. But I'll probably do like a hashtag for on the May 7th episode live show. Which I don't really want to go into a whole lot of details about that yet, because I still got one more live show to go on. Now, next week's live show, it's my brother's and I birthday, so we might do something a little special. And then I got a buddy of mine, his son's birthday, and he actually donated something for us to give away for next week's live show. So pretty excited about that. Brandon and I, we have an event going on this weekend. Some storming probably gonna happen, but it is what it is. Most of these events aren't refundable, so, and plus Brandon and I, we ain't afraid of no rain.
Right.
So I only got 6 entries, guys. We got 13 watching. 7 entries now. Here we go.
I think when we get done with this, I think I'm going to go find me something to eat. The whole debate, do I want to go drive in this craziness or just go eat at the place that they have here?
All right, 7 entries. I'll go over that in a second. But yeah, nice little giveaway tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow is the regular episode, so it's a 2-week window after that. That video will be set for the May 7th subscriber and season giveaway. I will be doing metal detector, got copper rounds, possible silver round, and gold if we hit the quota. I have the at the bottom the banner going on, which I'll keep that rolling throughout next week.
Right.
But for next week's giveaway, I'm probably gonna throw in some silver, dude, since it's our birthday.
Right on.
All right. Yeah, I've only gotten 7, buddy. You want to do this?
Yeah, I'd say let's just give it a roll.
All right. So tonight's episode, I got 2 offsets, a 72 penny, and a 91 dime. The mints, no mint, and a Denver mint. And of course, with the 82 Kennedy $half, that's red book value like 3 times higher than the other ones. I still don't know why. I still don't understand why the 82s and 83s are red book value worth more than the other ones.
That is crazy.
So 8 entries. Let's do this. Let's roll this. And I think Beard has a premiere going on in about 4 minutes. So let's get this over with.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Adam Hernandez.
Yes.
Good job, Adam. Let me max me out real quick. Adam, yeah, wowzers. So email me, buddy, right there under my name. Unless you're going to the event in Pryor, Oklahoma this weekend, I can just bring it to you. If not, just shoot me an email, and I can get that mailed off by tomorrow. All right, Tim, you got anything to say before we wrap this up, buddy?
Everyone have a good rest of the week, and thank you for joining us, and happy hunting.
Same as well, guys. Be safe out there. I know a lot of the Midwest and southern states looks like there's a nice thunderstorm rolling in. So please be careful if you are going out hunting. But that's about it, guys. Be safe. Happy hunting.
Yep.
Enjoy the spring weather.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Take care.
Yep. Have a good evening.